Hello and welcome. I'm Candy Michael from Powell, Ohio, and I am very excited to show you a 2-page spread of pictures that my dad brought back from when he was in the war. He is 97 years old today, and well, today is not his birthday, but as of today, and he will turn 98 in July, God willing. So thanks for tuning in. I used some really great Stampin' Up! Products to make these pages come alive. And now I just want to scrapbook an entire book. This is actually the beginning of me scrapbooking these pages. I may make it for him or I may selfishly keep it. I'm not sure, but I will definitely show it to him. Hi, Tammy. Hi, Sandra. Thanks for joining me. And Dina, hello, out in Texas. Hi, Judy. Thanks, you guys. I have some really awesome pictures that I had printed that Dad had given us, and he actually wrote a book as well. So I will be sharing that quickly in case anybody's interested. But that's not why I'm doing this live. I'm doing it because I love scrapbooking. It's my first love. Hi, Mo. And I just have to share. I do have a card at the very end using a photograph from one of Dad's pictures, so stay tuned. Here we go. I'm going to flip the camera around, but I just had to give a quick shout out and say hi to all of you. Thanks for joining me. And here we go. I don't have the big fancy one. I just do an automatic flip myself. Push the button and make the camera flip. There we go. So this is my dad, Larry Stevens. And like I said, he's 97 years young. And he actually, I was just out visiting him in California, and this was him after getting through COVID. He did really well, thank you, God. And this was at the 2-week mark, and I just cannot believe how well he's doing, and we're very blessed. So I got him outside and said, let's go for a little walk up and down the street, and he was ready to go for it. I had to actually walk pretty fast to keep up with him. So thank you, God, again, that he's here. So let me give a quick shout out with the designer paper that I'm using. It is Stampin' Up's, I wrote it down, In Good Taste. It's 12 by 12. And these are the patterns that I'm using. These 2 patterns, and then I'm using the gray granite from the Neutrals 12 by 12 for the background. So I kind of played with this for a little bit, but let me just show you guys some of the pages that come in this In Good Taste. There's so many different things. Sorry, I know that's going fast, but there's so many different textures and colors in this DSP, and this isn't even a full pack. But I love this, and it can go a very, very long way. So some of the tags that I've used in here, I used the dies that are called the tailor-made tags, and I actually have them off to the side. I used the 2 biggest ones, and you'll see them on my pages. I just want to shout out as to what the products were that I used. I also used our Playful Alphabet, and this came in super, super handy. And I used our Stitched Stars. All of those products are in the annual catalog. And so you can find them all in there. So I also, quick shout out, used when I used the alphabets, I used our adhesive sheets. And if you haven't used these, it's very simple to use. You take whatever piece of cardstock you want. You can even cut a half sheet and just put the piece on the back, and it creates like a sticker. So then you can die cut whatever shapes you want, and you'll see what I will be using on here. And I have a great tip that I learned yesterday in my stamping class from Steph Jones, and I was so excited that she showed me this tip, and I'm going to be able to pass it on to you. So again, these are the pieces that I used, and the pages just turned out really, really nicely. But I'm going to build them here with you. So we'll put it all together. I kind of piecemealed it earlier, and now I'm ready to rock and roll with it. So I used that really nice, like textured. It reminded me of some of the old, I don't know, like older furniture and things like that from way back when. You're gonna see I have some little lines on my cardstock too, because I had everything laid out, but I wanted to put it together with you guys. So my black is a quarter sheet or a quarter size bigger than my designer paper. And I will tell you what I used, because this layout can be very generic and used for anything, just depending on your designer paper. So this is 8 by 10.5. That's the one on this side. So let me glue that on and glue it down. Got to start in the back. You can use your this mono liquid glue. It is acid free. So any of you scrapbookers, we all know that we worry about if it's acid free. Some people don't worry about that as much anymore, but I do try to keep that in mind, because, you know, my kids may not want it, but this will be their treasure someday. So it has to last. Hopefully they'll keep it on a shelf of their grandpa. Okay, so this piece is I got it glued on. So this piece behind it is just a quarter size bigger. So I'm going to glue it down to where my little cheat lines are. Just made it easier. Another tape that we have is our Stampin' Seal Plus. This is also acid free, and I am going to try and use it. I say try, but I know sometimes I've had some trouble with it, like that. Yikes. I may go back to my other glue. You're supposed to be able to just like tear it off. But I'm going to go back to my other glue. It's much easier for me. When I can sit down and really concentrate, I'll go back to that one. But for now, we're using this one. And I know there's lots of tips to use our Stampin' Seal, but I have to learn what those tips are. Okay, so I have some little cheat lines as to where I laid this out. Where is that one? Right down about there. Scooch it up just a little bit. And I think that looks pretty straight. What do you guys think? Okay, the next piece I used is the this like textured piece. It's really cool, and on the back side it has kind of a blonde wood piece to it. So you're gonna see that I glued on some of the letters already, because I needed to have this exactly where I wanted it, and I didn't want to sit here and peel them all off while you guys were watching. It just was a step that would go quicker for me. So I'll show you a tip on another piece that I'll be using some of those alphabet letters that you're gonna like. And you may already know this tip, but I'm new to learning it, so I'm very excited. Okay, so this doesn't matter because there'll be a picture covering that, but I just want to make sure it's straight. So I cut this, I'm going to call it like a vanilla color, and I cut this one at 11.5 by 4 inches. And I just needed something a little bit wider. I believe they're different. I know they're different sizes on the other page. So I'll give you those measurements so that you have them. So I put down here, and it looks like it's a little crooked, but you know what? It's on. So I had used the double sticky, my little, where I die cut them out, and then they had the sticky on the back. So I was easy to put it on, because you just peel off the backing and put it on. So let's go with my first picture up here. This is Dad when he was at basic, I believe, just arriving. And the pictures, some of the pictures are a little blurry because they're pictures of pictures, but I just think it came out really cool. I have backed all my photos with black cardstock, and I do them about 1/4 inch on each side. So if this picture, let's say this picture is 5 by 3 3/4, then this would be 5 1/4, the mat, by 4. So I go up 1/4 inch. So this photograph is going to come right here. And on this one, I want to, let's see, well, I'll lay this one flat, but I'm going to add a tag underneath it. So I don't want my glue to go all the way down because I need to slide my tag in. So we're going to go about here. I had planned on centering this photograph. And that looks pretty centered. Ha ha ha. Thanks, Tammy, thanks. Okay, so I told you about the tags that I die cut out with the tailor-made tags. And what I did was I used some of our twine, our Baker's Twine Essential Pack. You guys, this is an awesome pack. It has gray granite, black, vanilla, white, and crumb cake in it. And it is so handy for so many different projects. I've been using it like crazy. So I took and die cut out this in the black. And then I actually cut a couple of pieces. And I remember when I had measured them out to begin with, they were 7 inches. But then I went ahead and cut them in half again. But I kept them together. I'm going to show you really quickly how I did this. And it may be old news. But some people have never actually seen how to just flip it through. So I literally just took this and went right into the little hole. Some of the holes are a little bit easier because they're more like a slit. So hopefully this one will go right through for me. Yep. So I'm going from the front to the back. And then we are going to just open up all those little loops. And then you're going to take these and push them right on through. And the reason I go from the front to the back is that I like to have this little finished piece, the loop part. Oh, there we go. Right in. Oh, this is like an epic fail. Okay, let me get that loop again. La, la, la. If I could sing and dance for you, I would be happy to do that. Okay, come on, Candy. There we go. So this way, when I pull it through, it'll make this wonderful little loop like this. See? See how nice that came out? Yeah. Okay. So this is going to actually tuck in underneath here. You can cut it down if you want, if you don't want like a lot of weight on your page. So I'm going to go ahead, and I can do that. I can cut some of it off because I don't really need all of that on there. But I'm going to just apply a little bit of glue here because it's going to slide underneath. Let me see on this one. Yeah. I'm going to slide that underneath and bring that like right about there. I had printed out some little like numbers and things like that. So my dad had told me the date that he had gone when he left for basic training, and it was April 17th, 1943. So I printed this out, stamped it out with an old retired stamp, and I am going to put this right on my little tag. I thought that was kind of cool because it looked like something they would have used back in the day. So I wanted that to be a little tag on there. Okay, the next picture is my handsome dad again, now in his full uniform. And this was when he was done with his gunnery school, he said, because he had his wings on that have from his gunnery school. So this guy is going to go right about here. This guy, this one of dad, I should say, is going to go right about there. And then these are the shiny photographs, so I have to use my sleeve. Don't mind my sleeve. This is a really cool picture. So back during the war, colored photography had come out, and my dad was actually big into photography, and that was one of the things that got him into serving when they asked him what kind of trade did he have. And he said, well, I took photography in school. But the co-pilot, Ruby Keeler, had a camera as well. And he took tons of colored photos. And these are actually very popular. You can find some of these on the internet because colored photography was very new. And being in the war, it was all these pictures that they were sending home was just amazing. Hi, Michelle. Just amazing. So in my dad's book, he wrote, like a lot of these pictures are in his book. And so I went and made copies of the pages so that I could write, instead of handwriting, I tried handwriting. It just didn't look good. I could have typed it out. But these were all the different gunners. We had, Dad was a tail gunner. And then we had the two waist gunners, the top gunner and the ball turret gunner that sat underneath the B-17. So these are the gunners on the wing. And I thought that was such a cool photo. So I wanted to put that on there. And actually I can pop. Now I'll leave this one flat too. I'll be using some dimensionals like on a photo here and there. But these pictures are just amazing. Amazing. Very cool. Oops. And this one I do want to put a tag under it. So I am going to, before it seals on me, I'm going to just slide this underneath here. This was just going to be a regular old tag. And again, you can cut them down, but I wanted that just to stick like that. And I can put glue under it later. Okay, so this is the beginning of this first page. And I do have some other embellishments I'll be putting on, but I'm going to do those at the end. So I want to show you the pictures first, and then we'll do some embellishments. Some of these pictures, I know this photo, I kept it as a 4x6. So my mat is a 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 mat. So it just depends on your photographs if you want. Oops. Well, those were all my pens and pencils that just went all over the floor. But thank God it didn't do it over on this side. Oh, I'm so funny. Okay, so here is our next page. See, isn't it nice? So with this one, we are going to use our vanilla piece and our other, I'll call it like, it has navy in it, but I'll call it our other textured piece. So, the bottom one is 11 3/4 inches. I just wanted a little bit of the background to show. And then this one, I did keep it 12 by 12. And I'm sorry, the bottom one here is 11 3/4 by 4 inches wide. And then this one is 12 inches long by 3 inches wide. So I am going to glue this one on first. And I'll get an idea of about where I'm going to put that, because I didn't mark this one. I was just winging this. I did have it laid out, like I said beforehand. So I had an idea of where it was going to go. But it's up there pretty high. So let me see if that's going to work. Sorry, I have my face in the camera. It's a little too high. So I'll bring this back down just a smidge. Oh, no, I won't, because the glue's there. Hey, isn't that perfect? See? Perfect. It's there. I like how I roll, don't you? All right, this piece, before I glue this on, I want to go ahead and get my spacing on here. So this was part of my dad's book, and it talked about him when he was inducted into the Army. So I thought it was kind of cool for my page to leave that on here, because he graduated, he was supposed to graduate June of 1943. But in April, his friends were leaving to go down to the recruitment center. And these were like some of his, all his high school buddies. And he was a senior. And he said, but if you guys are going, I want to go. And so they said, okay. And he went down and he registered. And the school worked with him, his teachers worked with him, and he was able to leave and go and serve our country. And they graduated him in June. So he was very happy. And, you know, back then, just everybody went in to serve our country. It was a very honorable thing to do. So this piece is going to come, and I threw the tag on there because I had put glue all over it. These tags, oh, that's not the right tag. That's my yucky tag. Let me get rid of that one. I have my good tag over here that I wanted to use, but I forgot and put glue everywhere because I'm so busy talking and kind of paying attention. But those of you guys that know me, you know I'm pretty shy and quiet. Full of stories, full of stories. Okay, so I just thought this was a nice little way to put these embellishments on using tags. Can you see that? There we go. Okay, so the piece that I want to put down next is this one, my designer paper. But I have the coolest photo of my dad holding on to the guns at the tail of the plane of the B-17. And Ruby, his co-pilot, had gone around and taken a picture of everybody next to like what position they were in. So Dad being the tail gunner, this has been a very, very popular photograph. And actually, we were told it is also a very popular photograph in England where my dad served. And they've reopened the Army base there for tours, which is really cool. And they've kind of put it back to what they could remember and used photographs to put it back. And they do dances there to raise money. And the dances, they play all the 1940s music. And a lot of people do the old dances that they used, ballroom dancing or swing or whatever they used to do. And it's just really neat. We have met so many awesome people with Dad at his reunions and different places, and it's just been such an honor. And I have to tell you guys, I actually met, so it was a 10-man crew, and he was in the 95th Bomb Group, and they would do a reunion every year. East Coast, West Coast, East Coast, West Coast. And I think it was 1985, it was a big, big reunion up in Seattle. Boeing, I believe that was the 50th anniversary of the B-17, and Boeing was doing a big deal on their air base there and their grounds. And so I drove my parents up there because I lived in California, and I drove them up there for the reunion, and I got to meet how many? There were 8 of the crewmen there from the 10. The pilot had passed away. He died in the Korean War. That was the pilot with Dad. And one of the other guys, they just lost contact with him. But I got to meet all the other men and their spouses. If they were married, they had their spouses too. Darn it, put that on the wrong side. Well, you know what? It's going to stay there. But I was supposed to put it on my other side. It's all right. It's all good. So I had cut this out of the book as well and thought that was pretty cool. Put that on there. And so you guys, that was such an honor for me to meet those men and their wives. The wives were so much fun. We all visited, and they were just a blast. Okay, so this is a picture of Dad's plane that he flew in, and it was called the Full House. The tail numbers on the plane, what did I just do with that? Were 297797, and so they made it like a full house deck of cards. And I'm just amazed my dad has so many cool pictures. So that's what I'm going to put down. And then here is a picture of the entire crew. And this is my dad right here. He was 19 years old when he went into the war. And most of these men were maybe like 4 years. Some of them were like 4 years older than him, maybe 5 years older. But such young men and women that went in to serve our country. It just amazes me. So this one, I will put a tag on it before I glue it down. And this tag, I do know where it's going, but I do have the tail numbers that I cut out as well. And I want to put those on. So before I mess it up, flip it over, put some glue on this one. You like how I glue? And then that can go right about there. Okay. Yay, it's coming together. Woohoo! So the stories I heard from these guys were amazing. And you know, it was very different for my dad. He, being in the tail, he actually sat backwards, looking out the back. So he did not see, well, as he says, he didn't really see what was coming, but he saw what they had been through. And it was just from his eyes, it was a very different, very, very different view. But you know, these guys didn't know each other. They all got there and they said, 10-man crew, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you 10, you're together now. And it was just amazing how it all played out. So this one, I am going to just pop it up and give it a little height. But we just, you know, a lot of us have no idea what any of the men and women went through back during the war. But I'm very blessed to hear my dad's stories. And when I was home recently, I actually pulled out my GoPro and did several videos of his stories. I know I have them all in his book, but I really wanted to hear his stories. And so I videotaped him. Ran out of time, but I'll get more when I go back next time. But it was just cool to hear it in his my dad is a great, great storyteller, and it was just really fun hearing it from him. So here we go. Here's our layout. I will bring the other one back, and then we're going to add some embellishments that I have. So what do you guys think? You'll like it? I like it. Okay, let me move some of the stuff out of the way. So I have the 2 pages. Now, the thing I love about this is if you can look past the pictures and see like the designer paper, this layout is very simplistic and really it's a great layout. Let me see if I can bring the camera up a little bit higher, if that helps. There we go. Because now we're going to add some embellishments. But isn't that cool? I want to just finish this and do all of his pages. Of course, you know, that's a lot of pictures, but once I get started, I don't want to stop. So let's work on this page first, and I'll add some embellishments. And I have that tip for you as well. So what I decided was it needed something else on it. What was I going to use? So I had come up with using the stitched stars. And I thought that would be a nice added, you know, way to embellish these pages. So I used various sizes of the stitched stars. And with these, I could even pop these up or pop the center one up, which I think I will. It's hard to see once they're in the book, but it is nice to give it just a little bit of dimension. So we'll pop that one up. These I can lay flat. And then just a little bit of glue. I can also use my glue dots, which would be handy and smart. And they're right next to me. So we'll switch over and grab some glue dots here. And this is the only other one I have to glue on. And then I am just going to pop that up. Not pop it up, pop it on there. Okay, so now we're getting a little color added to this. I already have my letters glued down. So down here, I thought, oh, how very cool would it be to add some stars. Some big stars, I should say. So I have this one. I have this one, which is the same gray granite. And then I have a giant blue, navy blue star. So I just have to make all of these fit because, of course, once I glued everything down, I had to move it a little bit. That's cool. No worries. Because as you see, I'm just going to wing it anyway. Okay, so we have our red one. And then this one, why not? I'm just going to pop it up. Pop it up. Right about there. Looks beautiful. And then I'll put on some blue color. And this one I'm going to lay flat. And I'll show you why. Because I have another tag I'm going to put on here. So I'm going to have that kind of hang off the bottom. So I decided, and now I don't have my string because I threw it off to the side, but I will add the string later. Oh no, I do have a piece here. I will just do a quick piece that'll work just fine. So I have something in here. And I'm just doing one so I don't have to get into all the loops, the loop-de-loops. And that would have been easier just to show you with one string. Go through the front, outside. Okay, so this is the tip I wanted to show you. I die cut out the 1943, which was the year that Dad went off to war. And it was April 1943. And so I die cut them out. But this lady, a friend of mine that was here yesterday, one of my customers, she showed me the coolest tip. Let me bring in, oh, well, I guess I can show you right here on that gray piece. So she took, no, I need white. So she took and asked me if because she was laying out a card and asked if I had any press and seal. And I said, well, yeah. And hi, Mary. And she goes, do you have any press and seal? Because I can make this so much easier. And so I said, oh my gosh, you're going to teach me something. So she laid out all her letters or paper, which I did. I laid them out on the table. You take your press and seal, put it down, and now I have everything lined up. You guys, this was the best tip that I had learned all day. All right, when I knocked everything over, my pick-up tool went flying, so I just had to grab that. So on the back of these, I actually have the sticker sheet on it, the adhesive sheets. So I am going to simply pull those off and fling them off to the side. So I'm hoping that this comes off easily. She made it look so simple when she did all this stuff. There we go. I've got this. So now that I have this sticky press and seal, it's going to stick to my fingers. But you guys, this was an amazing tip. Have you ever heard that tip before? Let me know if you have, because I love sharing tips. And even if you have, that's okay. Maybe you have forgotten about it and haven't used it for a while. And the other tip is using this tool to get your paper off. Okay, I have another question for you. Are you a scrapbooker at all? Do you do any scrapbooking? I'm really curious to know. I know that scrapbooking, like, it just seems like it's slowed down a lot, but I still love scrapbooking. It's one of my favorite things to do. Okay, so you take your press and seal and you center wherever you want your piece and you press it on. Ta-da! How cool is that? Tell me, is that not the coolest tip you've ever seen? I'm so excited. Those little things make me very, very happy. Okay, this tag is now going to go here. I'm going to put it right on top of my stars, and I am going to pop these up. This tag, I'm going to pop it up. Give it some height. And it'll just fit very, very nicely, right? Yeah, that looks good right there. And I can add more string to that, a little more color to it later. Oh, cut some of that off. Yay! So, oops, there was 2 more that I wanted to add. I thought that I could add just a couple more here. And I am going to use glue dots. These wonderful glue dots that make life so much easier. And again, at the very end, I'm going to show you a fun card that I made using another one of these photos. So here are my embellishments for my dad's first page. And I thought it came out so cool. All right, let's bring this one back and let's finish putting on some more stars. So again, I had copied a lot of this stuff out of my dad's book. One of the coolest things was he was put on a train to go to Atlantic City for his basic training. And he met a really, really good friend. His name was Jim Blake. And I have to tell you the story. Jim Blake's mom was the aunt on Batman series. His mom was an actress, and she was the aunt on the Batman series. Her name is Madge Blake. Her name was Madge Blake. And so Google her name, because I was watching The Munsters the other day, and she was on that show as well. So we've seen her. I was actually at my dad's when I saw her. I go, Dad, isn't that Jim's mom? And sure enough, we couldn't believe it. He goes, oh my gosh, it is. And he had met her, very, very wonderful, very sweet lady. But anyway, it was just one of those things that he was on the same train car with Jim. And he and Jim became very dear friends for many, many, many years until Jim passed away. So fun stories. You just never know. Trying to make this fit on here the right way. Let me go this way. There we go. There, now it's on there. So my little star, oops, down here. And then I thought it would be kind of fun to pop some of these down here. I just needed a little more color on these. Again, you can use your dimensionals, you can use glue dots. Oh, I just want to sit and scrapbook. Once I get started, I don't want to put anything away. I just want to keep playing. So these were just to add a little bit more color to the bottom. And again, the super fun layout. I think it would work for so many different scrapbook pages. So I'm going to pop this little star up, give it some more height. And I just did that right over the middle. Yay! Okay, I'm almost done. Can you feel it and see it all coming together? Do you love it? Hi, Deb. I just looked up and I saw you. Hello. Here are my glue dots again. I'm going to put... This time, I'm going to just double and put a star right in the center. And then I can pop this one up again. Where are those skizzers? So, my little scrapbooking, card making friends, what do you think? Again, this designer paper was just perfect. Perfect for this. Could not have been happier with the outcome. See, my tag was supposed to be over here, so it threw me. I got so excited about my pages and kept talking. But, I think that's there to stay. It's all right. Okay, these are done. Oh my gosh. Do you love them? Do you guys have like rooms full of photos well, a room full of photo, I should say, like I do, that need to be scrapbooked, because I do, and I cannot wait to get working on them. So here's my pages. Again, I have one more thing to share, and that's going to be a card. But tell me what you think. And I think everything looks like it's in there. Oh, thanks, Dina. Thank you, thank you. I think everything is in there. Yay! Now, I could add some more like little black embellishments in here, but I think I'm going to keep it. It's got quite a bit going on. And I'm just so thankful for my dad. So another funny story was I had asked him about the picture. I go, Dad, remember the picture of you standing on the wing of the B-17 and you're with, you know, a few other guys? He goes, oh yeah, those were all the gunners that I was in school with. And then I started naming. I go, well, Leo's the second guy. And he goes, oh yeah. And he named them all off. He remembered the photograph. I'm just blown away. His memory is amazing. Okay, so one more share with you today. I decided to take, now this picture is not as clear as the one on the scrapbook page. I had taken this picture from a picture, and it's the same photograph, but I couldn't go back and find it on my phone fast enough when I decided to print it out. So I had already printed this one and thought, just for me to show you. So I cut the photograph down, and I did put some black on the back, just a little eighth of an inch, so that it's kind of bordered. And then I put it on the gray granite. I put a piece of vanilla cardstock inside, and I looked at the stamps that I have, and I thought, what can I use that would work well? And I could not believe it. But this stamp set that's called Count on Me that we have, it has all these adorable little animals. But the sayings on here were so perfect. And the one I chose that we're going to stamp on the inside says, we could make it through anything if we do it together. And I just thought, oh my God, that's like what these guys did. They worked so hard together, and for months on end, not really knowing each other. They were all young, 19, 20 to 25-year-olds, and they made it through together. Just amazing. And so I decided that this would be a really cool card. So you guys grab your photographs. If you're not going to scrapbook them, you can certainly make some beautiful cards out of them and send it to somebody. Put it in an envelope and send it away. But isn't that fun? So I just thought that was a fun little addition, because many, many, many of you are big card makers, and many of you are scrapbookers. And it's just nice to know you can do both with photographs. I'm always going to encourage you to print those off of your phone and get them out there. So thank you so much for joining me today. Oh, a quick shout out. My dad's book, It Only Takes One, Memoirs of a Tail Gunner by Larry Stevens. And it actually is on Amazon. And he wrote about his 35 missions that he and his crew all made it through by the grace of God. And that he is here today to tell the stories, which of course is why I'm here today, to tell the stories. But there's one story in here I have to read to you that it's quick. I know I'm a big talker, but it's quick. So it was my dad's, they were told that they were going to be returning back stateside. And he had waited to get his clothes washed, and there was a family that lived not far from the base, and the mom would wash clothes for all the soldiers, and her son would come down and he'd pick up bags of laundry and he'd take it back to their house, usually on bicycle or by foot, and he'd take it back to their house and they would wash the laundry. So the mom would wash the laundry and then the boy would return it. Well, my dad gave it to her at 1, 2 in the afternoon. And he got orders that night at 10 o'clock that he was going to be leaving at 3 a.m. And he was like, oh my God, I don't have any clothes. The only clothes I have are the ones I'm wearing. So he ran to find, he didn't even know the name of the family that had their laundry. And so he went down the street and he got on one of the, well, in the base they had bicycles. So he got a bicycle and he ran down the street and these dirt roads, and he went to a pub and he asked some of the guys in there, hey, you know, who knows the family that does the laundry? And they told him. And so he ended up going, and he found, they told him where to go. I just lost my page. But they told him where to go and like how far it would be and everything. And he, they're going down, go down to the fence, make a left, go do this, make a right. And he was going, oh my God, I'm never going to find this. And it was all countryside back there. Well, anyways, he ended up finding the house, and he goes up to the door and he knocks on the door. Now, mind you, it's like, 11, 12 o'clock at night, and he knocks on the door. And the mom comes to the door and she says, can I help you? And he said, I'm flying out. I just got orders and I have to leave. And, you have all the clothes here. And so the little boy had come down the stairs when he heard, and he looks at my dad and he says, are you returning to the United States of America? And it just gives me chills. And especially when my dad tells that story, because he goes, yes, I am. And the woman gathered all his clothes, and my dad rode the bike back and was sent out that morning and returned back stateside. So anyway, those are stories from my dad, the tail gunner in the war. And thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you get some inspiration to get some of your family photos. And if your loved ones are still here, get those stories from them so you can scrapbook them as well. It's so important for all of us to carry on the history of our families. Thanks, you guys. Love you all. Have a great day. Thank you, Maureen. And thanks, Dina. I see you said they look great too. Thank you. You guys have a great day, a great week. I'll see you next week on the 23rd. For some more 411 Stampin' Fun. Bye.